My Govanen, one and all, and welcome to the Literary Baptists, which feels so strange for me to say because the hiatus has been immense. I'm Lee, joined tonight by Nick and Maddie. Good evening. How are we?
Good evening.
Good evening. I said it third.
Nick, I have to say, your glasses are fly. I've been holding on to this
Thanks.
compliment. They are absolutely fly.
Thanks. I got them. Uh like 2 weeks ago. Not long ago. So
How are they able to fit the thickness of the lenses?
well, because they're so small. I have terrible vision. Uh and so anything bigger than this, and then like basically they're digging into my skin. So -10, -12, if that means anything, it's bad.
It's like you barely have an eyeball, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you need to get LASIK and then wear glasses also.
I think yeah. That's
Dude,
actually probably what it'd be.
yeah.
So mhm.
Well, I'm very excited to pod with y'all tonight, and we're gonna start with some quotes uh that are plucked from our commonplace books. I'm trying to not knock off the phrase of one of our collective favorite podcasts, but it's a very similar concept to what another show does. But Nick, do you have a quote to share tonight?
I do. So, a book I've been reading recently is G.K. Chesterton's The New Jerusalem, which is it's kind of like it's a travel book. It's Chesterton traveling to
Hmm.
Jerusalem and talking
Hmm.
about different things along the way. Um it's it's not like, oh, you could see this there and here's it's almost none of it is about his experiences. It's mostly just about different observations, and then he goes off into some wild tangent. A lot of it is like differences between East and West, at least so far. I have not finished. I'm only about a quarter of the way through. But there was one chapter. It was about sightseeing, and it was talking about um, the reasons for sightseeing, and part of that was kind of those complaints about it's not what I expected. It's kind of
Hmm.
ugly there or something like that. And he was talking about people begging. And there's this quote, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. He said, "It is really not so repulsive to see the poor asking for money as to see the rich asking for more money. An advertisement is the rich asking for more money. A man would be annoyed if he found himself in a mob of millionaires all holding out their silk hats for a penny, or all shouting with one voice, 'Give me money.' Yet advertisement does really assault the eye very much, as such a shout would assault the ear. 'Budge's boots are the best' simply means 'give me money.' 'Use seraphic soap' simply means 'give me money.' It is a complete mistake to suppose that common people make our towns commonplace with unsightly things like advertisements." And that quote
I
has
love
made
that
me think
so
so
much.
much. I took a picture a couple of years ago of it was in Joplin, Missouri, and it was just a road there, and there was like an Outback, and uh,
Delicious.
like a McDonald's, and there were just these steins. It was such an ugly sight. And and I actually sent it to somebody the other day, and he said, "Oh, is that my hometown?" I was like, "No, but it could be. It could be any hometown. You just happen to know, oh, the McDonald's is across the street from the Outback here rather than down the way." It looked like anything. And I was just thinking about how that is part of what makes um at least American towns so unsightly, is just that it's about advertisement. I mean, you think about McDonald's, they look all the same.
Hmm.
They have the golden arches. They don't transform to the character of the town that
Yeah.
they're in. Um, And I would
Unless
say
you have a
that's a
really
sad thing.
persnickety zoning board or something.
Yeah, and there are like 10 of those places in the
Yeah.
US, probably. Um, and so it was the thing that's kind of making me sad. And I know that, you know, basically every company does this, and it's not really any of their faults. It's just that it has made our living areas pretty ugly. Um, and it makes me sad. So
But beauty's just in the eye of the beholder. It's not like some objective thing. So what you think is ugly, maybe somebody finds them beautiful and that makes it beautiful.
maybe there are people who
Triggered.
find Rangeline Road in Joplin, Missouri beautiful, but I don't.
Yeah. Triggered. Well, first of all, Chesterton sounds like an anti-capitalist. I mean,
He
he's made
does.
other comments that I'm like, okay.
He's
He's very
English.
But
He's
this.
capitalism
half
does
commie.
have, yeah.
Yeah, he's anti-capitalist in this book, which is interesting.
Yeah, he
Hmm,
he definitely I got those. I don't know if he's like socialist, but he definitely doesn't. I think the British were just jealous of American prosperity though.
that's what it is.
But could American prosperity have been a little bit better looking?
Yes. There's actually some towns, or at least parts of towns that I've like lived in, or probably even out here, where they have like ordinances on how you can advertise
Hmm.
to try to keep it looking nice and not just like cluttered like that.
Yeah,
But
Keeping
it's certainly
signs at a
not
certain height.
America. I mean, it's certainly not America. Asia is very much the same.
Hmm.
South
Yeah.
yeah.
America, very much the same.
And that's
But
one of Chesterton's things is also that he says European, but I would say at this point it's American. Like the world is becoming more Western, basically.
yeah,
The
it's like
advertisements are everywhere.
commercialism more
Yeah.
more than just capitalism
Yes.
per se. But I agree. It's like very cheap, very junky, ugly,
Yeah.
and I also strongly detest advertisements, which is why I pay extra money to not watch them.
The other thing in this book that I found interesting. So I'm going number two. Okay, so
Do it. Let's do it.
just just doing this. I'm going to cut line
Double
and do
barrel.
my second one. I don't have the quote pulled up, so I'm not going to bother. But he talks about pedantry, and he's talking about
Oh,
specifically this. There's a place, I guess, in Jerusalem called the Mosque of Omar, and it's not actually a mosque. It
mhm.
wasn't. It was built after the time. Like he
Yeah.
was. He was just talking about it. He was just saying pedantry is, again, not a direct quote, but he basically said pedantry is never so wrong as when it's actually right. And he's talking about how it ruins the idea of what you're actually trying to convey. You're trying to associate this building with a great man because it's deserving of a great man. You're trying to associate it with like something sacred, and that's why they called it a
Mm.
mosque.
Hmm.
But that that pedantry is something that annoys me so much. Like we call it, okay, do you remember the Pluto thing?
Oh yeah. I was very
Like
sad during the Pluto thing.
it was a planet. Yeah, there are bigger
Oh,
things. Like
yeah,
we all called it a planet. We all had
Yeah.
it
I still
down.
call it a planet.
Why do we need to make up a new category? Like we don't.
yeah,
Let's just
Yeah.
call it we don't need to go around calling tomatoes fruits. We know that they're vegetables.
yeah.
Get out of here, pedants.
That
Yeah,
reminds
don't
me,
I
even
start put
like before, I might be confusing my facts, but like in ancient cosmology, they just called everything stars, whether it was planets or stars. And
Mhm.
that's not necessarily because they didn't know that there was a difference. They weren't so worried about like
Yeah.
what you're saying
They were just
Yeah.
being
lights.
pedantic.
The lights.
Yeah. And you'll encounter that, especially I'm finding that sometimes with like Spanish, when I try to learn things in Spanish, it's like they use the word way more broadly, where we can be very like minute and very
Hmm.
specific.
That's our Germanic heritage coming out.
Yeah.
I hate
All
to
these
hate on the
Romance
Germanic.
language people, Latinate crazies, being all, broad strokes with the brush. We gotta get down to the fine details.
Yeah, I've been trying to explain the difference of see versus watch to my
Oh,
son.
yeah.
And you would think that it makes sense, like, to explain it because he'll ask, like, to see TV. And I'm
Hmm.
like, it's right there. You can see it right there. Like, watch TV. He's like, it's the same. And I'm like, but we don't ever say, like, see TV. But then sometimes you do. You'll say, have you seen that movie?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't honestly know how to explain this in a way that makes sense. But
It feels like watch has more intent behind it. Like if you're intently seeing something, you're watching it, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah. And
Or
but
time.
you would ask, like,
see
have you seen that? Like, have you seen that TV show?
I
But
say
you wouldn't
that.
say, I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Anyways, I digress.
Ooh, interesting. It's
But yeah,
pedantry.
planets and fake mosques
Yeah.
that aren't mosques. So is that book, is he like actually going to Jerusalem?
Yeah. He goes, and
Okay,
the most notable thing, um, oh, and this is actually connects to the pedantry too, a little bit. It starts snowing when he goes, and he
interesting.
talks about
There is some
how,
altitude there.
yeah, he talks about how there's English people there because I think this is when it was a British mandate.
Hmm.
So there's English people, there's the Jews and the Arabs there, and he's talking about how each of the groups react
The,
to the
does he
snow
call them
differently.
Mohammedans?
He does, and at the beginning he has a little thing, and he says like, I. I'm going to call him that. You could say that you could say that that's not the proper thing, but I'm going to call him that. And if you tell me otherwise, I'm going to spell it wrong too, or something. And so there are a couple of instances where he spells it differently, and I'm guessing it's
That's
because an editor called it out.
that's
Um,
fantastic. Sorry, I derailed your train of thought.
but it snows, and he talks about how people in Europe were always kind of pedantic about, like, oh, it's silly to have this nativity image with snow on the ground, and he's like, actually, it does snow here.
Hmm.
So, but the snow is an interesting twist that I was not. It's weird to have a twist in a nonfiction book about uh, a
A
trip to
travel log.
Jerusalem that doesn't really have much narrative in it, but the snow was a beautiful part of it.
Only
I
Chesterton could do that.
man, Rome doesn't deserve him.
So true. Well,
So it's a great book.
it doesn't have him. He's a Baptist now,
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
and a literary Baptist at that.
He is.
Uh,
Um,
half the Baptists are going to cancel you for thinking that a dead Catholic could go to heaven.
Maybe half, maybe more. I don't know. Can Baptists
Probably
even
more.
be united enough to condemn such a thing?
No. Well, they're
unified? What are you
united
talking about?
generally in thinking everyone else is just a papist.
That is a real thing. Like they'll just like anything that they don't like will just be, oh, that's a papist doctrine. Like that's a
Yeah.
Catholic doctrine. I'm like it could be Catholic with a small c, just because Rome teaches it. They could be accidentally right.
Yeah, I grew up non-denominational, which is Baptist coastal. And it was basically like, in their view, anyone who baptizes infants are papists, which I kind of agree with, but not really. Not truly. As a joke, yes, but
Yeah,
Rhetorically,
yeah,
it's a fun joke.
it is a fun joke.
it's a fun joke.
I was gonna say I have this. This is a set of Baptist Confessions of Faith, and it's got like 35 different
Oh my word.
versions. It includes the Second London and the First, but it also includes some General Baptist ones.
Philadelphia?
There's yeah, you you can't get agreement amongst Baptists,
It's
especially the ones that are
impossible.
included in here. There's no agreement.
Too
So
much pedantry.
yes, this some of
We're
it's
so
serious. It's worth being a little bit.
for sure.
Uh, but yeah, some of it
Maddie,
is.
did you have any initial material that you wanted to share? Quotes or general thoughts?
Yes, I recently listened to Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton, and I at the last minute finished The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis
Ooh,
right before
okay.
this. And then I've been like kind of reading segments of other books, but the quote I had to get ChatGPT to look it up for me because I listened to an audiobook. But the it's a demon portal. Okay. Anyways.
The demons regurgitated a
Um,
quote for you. I hope it's real.
yes. I'm gonna get burned at the stake for being like a medium. Um, anyways.
Your new name is the
So
Witch at
just
Endor.
Chesterton, feel like this was earlier on in the book. There's so many great quotes from Orthodoxy, but this one just stuck out to me. He says, tradition means giving votes to the most obscure of all classes, our ancestors. It is the democracy of the dead. Tradition refuses to submit to the small and arrogant oligarchy of those who merely happen to be walking about, which I just, it struck me. Of course, you could argue that, and the people that want you to, cross the Tiber would maybe make those same points. But just thinking of how vital tradition is as a Baptist because we're
Hmm.
so prone to reject it. And it's hard to say really if that's like a modern thing or because as Baptists we've kind of thrown off so much of what
That
the
is,
church
yeah,
was doing at the time of the Reformation and kind of questioned a lot of it that like we've just kind of imbibed that mentality over time where it's like you're just getting rid of more and more and more and more. And then you have this oligarchy of those who are just merely walking about in church.
which is
This is
such a good phrase anyway.
Yeah.
it's one of those reasons why I think it's good to have the confession in a church. You know,
What?
it's not the church is not just the individuals that happen to be in that location. It's the church as a whole. It's
Hmm.
includes the people who wrote this confession and giving them a say, especially since they actually put a lot of effort into those. And I would say got basically all of it right.
Yeah,
Um, I, I think that's one of the best arguments for it is that we are including the democracy of the dead in this. We're having,
Yeah.
a congregational meeting including dead people,
yeah.
not in the Chat GPT Witch of Endor sense. We're not like we'll use their writings and hope
the,
that they agreed with them.
the cloud of witnesses and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, tradition is so vital. It had me reflecting like not only in just the church, like more specifically to Baptists,
Hmm.
but I've been reading the 2000 Years of Christ's Power finally.
Ooh,
I got
very
that
cool.
I got that for Christmas like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm finally reading it. Um, but it's written by Baptists,
Yeah,
and
yep.
when I gave the set also to one of my friends who recently graduated college and she loved it and she's all excited and she has a lot of Orthodox friends
Hmm.
that are trying to push her towards that, and she was excited that there's a Baptist. And like, oh, it's sad that that's kind of the case, that a lot of Baptists are so against that, and you like it's almost like we feel like you can't even read somebody who disagreed
Yeah.
with maybe your views of sacraments or
Yeah.
saints or whatever it is, and it's
Can't
like,
benefit from any of that.
right. And then when I read like these people in history, it's like we're all kind of a product of our time. We have a
Yeah.
tendency we have a tendency to look at them like, oh, they were maybe more right than we are now. That's not necessarily the case, but
Hmm.
it doesn't always mean that they were all wrong
Hmm.
and we're just more right because we're so smart. So
I mean, we're pretty dang smart, but
we have an accumulation of knowledge, but maybe not so much wisdom.
and some
Part
chronological snobbery to go along with it too.
Yes.
part of the Reformation is seeing it as continuity with the past.
Oh, yeah,
It's an
absolutely.
administrative break, but it's a theological continuity. And so in some ways, we are the not I'm not doing the what's the is it the trail of blood? I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But in some ways we are the inheritors of the tradition of the church
Hmm.
fathers and the
Hmm.
medieval church. I would say as Protestants,
100%.
Yeah.
not specifically Baptists, but
100%.
Protestants are. So we
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are we're the actual traditional people.
Yeah.
I think the most in line with the clear insistence on the regulative principle um, coming out of the Reformation. I think the confessional Baptists are the ones who cleave the most closely to that on a whole. Um,
You can't read the Didache and be it and baptize
it's
babies.
it's
Um,
true. That is a very old document, and it's kind of crystal clear on that topic.
yeah.
But then at the same time, being the kind of Baptist that cares what the Didache says is also kind of an achievement too. Uh, like I really enjoy the material that like the Center for Baptist Renewal puts out. Have you guys been to their website?
I have not.
Um, Really good. So like there was that movement. I mean, it's still ongoing and stuff, but it's not as buzzy as it was. The whole Baptist Catholicity thing, and
Mm,
the writers that contribute to the Center for Baptist Renewal were really at the center of that. Where like these are confessional Baptist pastors and churches that make explicit emphasis on reading the patristics, reading
yeah.
the medieval thinkers, retrieving, the whole retrievalism thing, which has kind of gotten some pushback recently, which is kind of interesting. But kind of retrieving the glories of the past, the good works of the past, with people that I mean we would have significant disagreements with, but recognizing that we are all in the lowercase c Catholic Church together. Um,
Yeah.
and really that the phrase Roman Catholic is a contradiction in terms because you can't be Catholic and have the center of it be one particular place, one
Right.
particular uh, unbiblical tradition be the hallmark of it. You've actually compromised Catholicity by doing that. So I have radicalized or have tried to radicalize people in my area and in my church, saying that we actually are the true Catholics, not
Yeah.
Rome. Catholic it should be our word. And
Yeah.
I think as Baptists we get to be the most Catholic of Protestants too,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. And just that, like you said, the emphasis on reading like the patristics and medieval. Like I remember reading, now Calvin's not a Baptist, or wasn't a Baptist, I should
He is
say, but
now,
he's
but
now, yeah, he wasn't. But I remember just reading that early on when I was first getting into like reform like theology in general, really, but reform specifically, and how much he quoted or at least referenced like Virgil
Yeah.
and allusions to different things like that, where I was like, wow, like he's interacting so not just the Bible, quote unquote, that we hear as Protestants, that's what we are. It's like no, they're like reading patristics, obviously Augustine, um, but just all of that interaction with like Western civilization and history and knowing those stories, and we've just I guess it's modernity. I don't know, but
I think
like
it
it's
is in
yeah,
post-modernity too.
yeah, enlightenment, modernity, post-modernity. Like we just have, and I think particularly in America, just because we don't have those like reminders in front of us all the time. Although I guess like Europe's lost. I don't know, they're basically Muslim now.
It's all Pakistan now.
Like yeah, apologizing for being English in England. Um, but just I don't know, there's so much of a rich history there. And from our perspective as Protestants, you can read someone like Augustine and disagree with him. And it's not like you have to imbibe, whereas like someone like
Hmm.
Rome would have to
Hmm.
say no, like he's this
Hmm.
like the whole package, everything he said has to agree in
Hmm.
some sense or another. Where we can say no, there's things that we disagree and that he was wrong on, and there's things that we do agree that he was right on.
Yeah. Well, like I think a telling thing is like Martin Luther and John Calvin both positively quote Bernard of Clairvaux, which doesn't make any sense for either of them. Well, I guess it makes more sense for Luther than Calvin because Luther was pretty mystical, um, but the fact that so I'll pick on Calvin for that, but the fact that Calvin can find something worthwhile in Bernard of Clairvaux, who he would have some of the most significant disagreements with on multiple things, um, I think really proves this point of like we're continually building on the work that's come before us, even when we disagree with some of it. Um, that really strengthens the church in the current moment that you're living in, and then that people are going to be building on this in the generations in the church to come too. Uh, it's just really encouraging and um, fascinating.
And the idea of not having somebody be perfect to be able to get something
Yeah.
and enjoy what they're saying, I think applies in a lot of different ways. I think there are a lot of people who would toss out, I don't know,
John MacArthur.
John MacArthur, yeah, or just, but
Or
I'm
dearly
thinking even,
departed.
you know, uh, the the book Frankenstein, for example, like
Love it.
Yeah.
Mary Shelley, her husband, sketchy dude,
Yeah.
like if we just toss away the work of people just because they were sometimes sketchy people, I think it's good to sometimes pull from it what is true, reject what is sinful, what is wrong, what is ugly, but the things that are good, um, I think it's worth
Yeah.
taking and pulling from. So
Yeah. Like my favorite hymn, Come Thou Fount. Pretty sure
yeah,
the dude was prone to wander.
Very,
He
very prone.
yeah.
started a
Uh,
cult.
Yeah, but no, and there's a difference sometimes, I think, with living people or people who are
Yes.
recently, like there's because sometimes people will say, well, what about, when you're criticizing Bethel or Hillsong, and they're
Yeah.
like, well, what about Come Thou
Hmm.
Fountain? It's like,
Because
well,
they're
the guy's
actively
been,
deceiving people.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's been dead. That cult's non-existent.
long
Like
gone.
it's not a thing.
Yeah.
There's not
Like
a real
you can have shaker
danger.
furniture in your house and not support the shakers because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
it's the same reason why I don't think we need to go smash the idols in the British Museum. Like, no one worships those things anymore. We
Yeah.
should smash the idols that people worship now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Disney or something. I don't know.
Yeah. well, like even like reading, I think it was both in the Great Divorce and Orthodoxy, it's very clear that Lewis and Chesterton did not view Calvinism or the doctrine of predestination kindly.
Yeah.
They both at least mention it in some sort of passing. Now, maybe clearly their understanding of it, or maybe what had kind of become at that point in common thought was not really what it like just like today that people that argue about it, they kind of think of this like hard determination or determinism. Is that the word? Hard
Yeah.
determinism.
Hard determinism.
Not what it is, but they're dealing with the issue of free will, and if they'll also make those like comments, well, I can't just like throw them out because they say that. It's clearly they didn't fully understand it or interact with it at a real level. And so them disagreeing with it doesn't mean anything. And there's like an element, I think you have to get to this point in your maturity, like your spiritual or intellectual maturity, where you can handle reading or listening to people that you disagree with. Like I remember early on in my theology journey, like I only wanted to read people that I agreed with. Like I did not want to read anyone else. It felt too unstable.
Yeah, like you could
But
get
then
talked out of it.
yeah, or just it was like just too confusing. But then after a while, once you've kind of like settled in, you feel like you have a better understanding, then you can kind of readdress things. You can maybe, ask questions again that you were uncomfortable asking before to see if that really was solid or if you need to adjust your views on things, or just be able to read someone that you disagree with and not be like, ah, heretic burn.
Hmm.
Like you can just enjoy them and also see them in their context. I think that's just so important to see people in their context because we have a lot wrong
Yeah.
as, Americans, just the way we view things. So, but we don't, we can't almost like not be us. I don't know how to, like, I can't be
Yeah,
a
you can't escape your
medievalist.
times. Like
Exactly.
we're affected by our current moment in ways that we don't even recognize. And probably nobody around us recognizes either, and it's going to take at least another century to figure out the meme that we're all living through, you know?
Right. Which is why we like struggle with like reading even Jesus, like how he talk sometimes. Like we have a really hard time. I feel like we have to explain this and
Hmm.
explain that, and it's like it made sense to the people at the time way more than it does to us now.
Yeah.
What about you, Lee?
Well, so I'm continuing my journey through through Lewis's. I'm not going to call it the space trilogy because apparently that's incorrect. Ransom trilogy, the Deep Heaven trilogy, whatever you want to call it. So I'm reading that hideous strength, and so my quote it
Mm,
surrounds the book. It's not from the book, but it's the quote that inspired the title of the book. It's from a poem by Sir David Lindsay or
mm,
Lindsay. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's from a long book called And Dialogue. It's just a couplet, but there's a section about Babel, and this is a description of the Tower of Babel. Do you guys have you guys seen this quote before or heard of it?
no.
Okay,
I don't think so.
here it comes. So it's a couplet from the poem, and it's the shadow of that hideous strength, 6 mile and more it is of length. And
Mm,
it's interesting. So the 6 miles, I'm not sure where that comes from. That's not laid out in the description of the Tower of Babel in the Bible, but the quote itself really stuck with me, not only for the description of it as that hideous strength.
mm,
Um, so obviously hideous, but thinking of it as strength, it's a show of strength,
mm,
of human ingenuity, human sinful human ingenuity and strength. That's why it's hideous. Um, a 6 mile a 6 mile shadow cast by it. Um, So it doesn't necessarily mean that the tower itself is 6 miles, but the
Right.
looming shadow of this hideous thing stretches for six and more 6 miles and more. Like it keeps like the shadow of it just invades further than the tower, the footprint of the tower itself does. And I do
Mm,
think that that stretching effect of what Babel means and what the Tower of Babel meant and the shades of Babel that might endure into later eons, um, which is what the novel is about,
yeah.
kind of the greater transhuman agenda that the demonic powers would seek to create on Earth um, to destroy the human race or to evolve it to the point where it ceases to be human and cease to be a risk to them. Uh, I've enjoyed the novel now that I'm in the last half of it. The
Hmm.
I've had this struggle with not necessarily Paralandra, the second book, but out of the Silent Planet and that hideous strength. Basically, the first third of the book, I was like, is this thing going anywhere? Like the build up felt so long and dry. And kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, Maddie, about like being modern. I, I don't know if I've been catechized by the screen and not reading enough, but like my patience for the table setting of both of those books was almost non-existent. Like it took me forever to get to the actual. Well, it felt like to me it took forever to get to the actual action of the book.
Mm,
Which then once it broke open, I remembered like, oh, all the little pieces, the little foreshadowing things were all laid out in those early chapters, like of the first third of both books. But I was like blinded to them on my first read. I'm like, are we actually gonna get somewhere? Like, I don't actually care that much about the little petty squabblings of these, Oxford Dons and their little NICE project. Until it breaks open, you realize, oh yeah, that was actually fascinating. I was just too dumb and postmodern to care about it at the moment, I guess. I got
Yeah, I
I
agree.
kind of had to search my soul. Like, have I forgotten how to read?
yes. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that's it. You were just too dumb.
I will
You
say,
nailed it there.
just,
I'm glad
well,
you
I
elucidated
want to
that for
reflect
me.
on that quote. I want to reflect on that quote because I, for whatever reason, like I didn't really think much of the book title.
Mm,
Like it seemed very disconnected to me, I
mm.
guess, from the book. Like I maybe it didn't help that it had like one of those awful covers where it's like
Oh, yeah.
from the 80s of like some guy getting like electrocuted or something. Like
It's the muscular man holding on to two
yes.
lightning bolts, which is
Yes,
an
but
image from the book.
yeah.
It is a
But
description.
it didn't seeing
Speaking of,
that at first to start with like threw me off for the whole book. I was like, what does this have to do with like I was thinking some like Frankenstein stories happening, which in a
I mean,
sense, yes. Yeah, in a
speaking
sense,
of bad
yes.
covers, this is the one that I'm
Oh
reading
gosh.
from.
Oh,
So
Oh,
it's
that is
it's all three
weird.
books together.
that's
Interesting.
hmm,
I don't know. Is that Maleldil at the top? Is that who that's supposed to be? I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
It's a weird
hideous.
one.
It looks like one of the like that oh gosh, it was like an 80s and 90s
There's the
like the
spine.
cat the
Oh
cat
yeah,
people.
That's Merlin.
it's got to be Merlin,
Yeah,
right?
that I will say having read the Stephen Lawhead
Tailspin.
series with Pendragon and Merlin, like knowing from that, like at least to some level, the Arthurian legend and Merlin and stuff, even though he does it differently. It's kind of like a
Hmm.
fantasy historical fiction. That helped me with that hideous strength because I at least had some semblance of what the
Hmm.
symbology was.
Hmm.
Because not being like a super Merlin expert before that, like I would have been like, this is wild. What does Merlin have to do with this at all?
It's exposing my Arthurian ignorance too, because I haven't read much of that stuff. I read like
Yeah.
pieces of Le Morte d'Arthur in high school, but not even all of it. Um, so I need to after this I need to beef up my Arthurian knowledge. I'm convicted.
It's also not consistent. It's one of those things where like you could have one source saying this and then there's another
Yeah.
source. Like it's not a
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
universal.
It
it's kind of like
varies
Greek
like kind of
mythology.
who even like Morgana is in relation
Hmm.
to Arthur and so but if you at least kind of see like the main thread of the story, whether the details are different, kind
Hmm.
of like Greek mythology, sometimes that's
Yeah.
varies the stories. Um, but yeah, you should feel bad for not no, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
It
I
is
Yeah.
do.
it is one of the books that I put off for like a year and a half because I'd heard that it was so different from the other two that I was like, I don't know.
It was really different. Yeah, it's still very different. I'm not quite finished with it yet. I've only got a little bit longer to go, but
Mm,
only a few more chapters. But like Merlin's been found and everything. But um, um, I also really enjoyed, and I don't have a necessarily quote from it. I should have pulled quotes from it because it was the explanation of the macrobes and their intelligence
mm,
to Mark, and I just thought it was brilliant because like I've over the last few years I've gotten really into kind of the blurry stuff and spiritual warfare stuff and the like the blending of very sciency language with the quest for new technology and then extraterrestrial intelligences that are more intelligent than people. you know uh, Lewis is putting all these pieces together here in when was this written? The 50s, 60s? I should look up the publication date. Obviously a while ago. And these are all things that people are again like kind of rediscovering now, in sort of a retrieval kind of way. Um, like all of those the hyper technological transhuman neo-pagan cult that you can kind of see flourishing, especially in the tech bro world. This is one of the things that like the Theology podcast has done a great job talking about in the last
yeah,
year or so. Um, Techno paganism. That's what Glenn Sunshine calls it. Where like
yeah,
the guys who developed certain AI models said that they received the code, as a direct download from an entity that they saw while they were tripping on mushrooms or whatever.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
wild.
I there is not that far of a leap from the NICE to there, like from there to the NICE. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That kind of a improving humanity project. Or what was it? It was just recently Peter Thiel was on somebody's podcast and they're like, well, obviously the human race should continue to thrive and grow. And he couldn't say he agreed with that. Like he kind of hemmed and hawed a bit. Like the macrobes are talking. Yeah, that's okay. That's what came to
yeah,
mind when that happened. I'm like, oh, he's listening to the macrobes. We've got to become
yeah.
something else. We have to become a brain only, because to be embodied is to be a danger to them, and so we've got to abandon humanness in favor of pure mind, essentially.
I can't help but feel, and I don't know if it's like a chicken or egg situation, but it's like the solidification, if you will, the acceptance of the theory of evolution leading up to
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
I just every time, like whether it was reading Chesterton or this, or even like I'm doing a deep dive on the the ancient native mounds here in the
S-
US. Like,
Supposedly Native
yeah,
American.
right. Like nobody's technically native in America. Like
Yeah.
you didn't grow out the
Well,
ground here at one point.
even
They
the
didn't like
tribes that live around
separately
these
evolve.
mounds, like if you ask, like people ask them, like, "Oh, when did your people build these mounds?" And they're like, "Our
Didn't,
people never built them. We found them when our
right.
people said they found them when they came. Where'd they come
But
from?"
there's like you see in that like in their explanation of like where they came from and how this type of stuff baffles them is that they've assumed this evolutionary like we were dumb and basic and rocks like smash rocks together and make fire.
They're like frogs with
And they're like,
hands.
how could this possibly happen? But you can just see that like underlying mentality of a linear progress from from the past to now. And so whether that's in looking at the past, they're just assuming more stupid, more dumb,
Hmm.
or they're looking in the future and being like, we're only going to get better and we're going to make everything better and all of our ideas are definitely good and never been tried before. So I'm just saying like how, and again, I don't know if it's a chicken egg. I don't know if that was like kind of already like a brewing concept and then evolution just kind of gave it this like basis to like to anchor that, or if it really was a theory of evolution that just like set people on that path to just look at everything in the past as dumb and everything in the future and technology and advancements and all this stuff and like we're evolving.
Yeah, well, I think it does set up that anticipation of like you see where we came from. Look what we can become if we all band together and do blah 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 and advance our own evolution. We can take an active part in reaching our next phase of evolution. Whereas in the past it like happened to us over the course of millions and millions of years. Now we can advance it. We can make it come faster with our own work. We can make ourselves evolve, and then that also makes humanity like um an inherently progressive effort. Like there is
Mhm.
no humanity is never finished. Like we're always becoming more human in the new category. We're all it's
Yeah,
always on a spectrum.
I think that was one of the quotes that was in Orthodoxy where he talks about progressive, like being progressives. I can't remember what the quote was, but it was like the sentiment of like, what are we progressing from and what are we going to?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it
Eh,
assumes that you're constantly in this state of like progressing, but progressing to
mhm,
what?
right. Yeah, what if the whole thing is actually a circle and you think you're progressing, you're actually moving further back, not forward.
Yeah.
You're going to end up cycling yourself back to being a troglodyte, you know?
There's to bring up New Jerusalem again. There's a relevant quote. I'm going to read it. I found it. Um, he said, "A humorous soldier told me that he came from Derbyshire and that he did not think much of the pyramid, this is the pyramid in Egypt, because it was not so tall as the peak. I pointed out to him that he was really offering the tallest possible tribute to a work of man in comparing it to a mountain, even if he thought it was a rather small mountain. I suggested that it was a rather large tombstone. But that's part of what it's similar, like looking at the works of the past and just saying,
Whatever.
it's not a big thing. But he's having to compare it to a mountain. Like we don't have,
Like
I mean, I guess there's
we're
the
not
pyramid
making
in
new
Memphis.
mountains.
Um, the pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee is pretty close, obviously. But
The
we
Parthenon
do
in
not,
Nashville.
yeah, we don't make mountains. We don't
Mm-mm.
really do that. Oh, well, we do with landfills. So they
Yeah.
made them as tombstones. We make them like trash piles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And they
I
won't
was
erode.
studying about the Cahokia or however you say it, out there in St. Louis, right along the river there. And that mound, it's a very complex mound, but it's actually bigger than the Pyramid of Giza. And they, because of the clay soil, they had and a clay foundation because the clay there like either expands when it's wet or contracts and shrinks when it's dry. Like it'll just make it crumble and collapse. So they layered it with sand and clay and sand and clay to keep the moisture levels more consistent. And it's huge. And
Wow.
obviously it's eroded over time and things have happened, but I mean it's like we look at it like, oh, it's it's not as complicated as a skyscraper or something like that, but it's like what with the tools that they had at their disposal, the the lack of having accumulated knowledge like we have books, we have, data systems, we have all this means of having like to build on other people's work. They couldn't store it the same way. They just didn't have that. Like, yeah, they had written books and they were probably very intelligent. Their memories were better. But which I was like talking side note, just talking to my kids the other day. I was like, man, like everyone's gonna turn into a bunch of smooth brains thanks to GPS. I saw that. I don't know if you saw that like viral clip where the guy's like, I don't understand how they delivered pizza before GPS.
Hmm.
Like,
Like
explain that to me.
like
It's like
the streets don't change every day. You can know
they
where the
don't.
streets are.
People, they just like you just knew how to get places. I memorized phone numbers, and that's like
Oh
nothing
yeah.
compared to what
Oh yeah.
ancient
I
people have did, memorizing books and poems and
Yeah, if you
yeah,
look at the Odyssey or the Iliad, that was not written down for a few hundred years.
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we have a fraction of the manuscripts of the Iliad that we do for the Bible, and yet nobody doubts that Homer wrote the Iliad.
right.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just the one that told it the most.
I wrote
Yeah.
it.
Homer Simpson wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have this like hubris, arrogance, snobbery of being so much smarter because we have all this technology, but it's like we're not smarter.
Yeah.
We just have more advanced technology, but we're probably honestly dumber as a
Yeah.
whole because we don't do a lot of the thinking for ourselves anymore. We just rely on other things.
That's why you used to not be allowed to use a calculator in math class because you
Yeah,
won't be able to do math. You just know how to use a calculator.
yeah,
If you were transported back to ancient Greece, you knew Greek and you were wearing Greek clothes, but otherwise you just had your brain and just you as a person, would it take you, like, would you be able to impress them with anything, any kind of knowledge?
Mm-mm. No,
Like,
no, not a
we can
bit.
talk about
they
having
might think we were an
phones,
oracle to tell them the future.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
but even
But
then, like,
that would require you to know history enough. Not enough people do.
Yeah, you could be an oracle without the demon possession.
Yeah.
but generally you wouldn't. I I don't know that I can impress them with really anything. I don't know
No.
that I could personally thinking through, like, I know the Pythagorean theorem, like, but Pythagoras maybe and I could talk. I don't know, but he's fairly early, even in ancient Greece. So, like, if you're
Yeah.
in,
Yeah. Maybe like
I
medical knowledge. You might be able to help with some medical
you guys should
knowledge.
Maybe.
sanitize. Don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sanitize.
Pour some hot
As it
water on
turns
that.
out, you don't have four fluids running around your body.
Yeah, maybe don't all share the same wiping equipment. That was
Yeah.
Rome, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think I could.
No. I would probably complain. I would not handle the transition well.
With my
I wouldn't.
post-COVID brain, they might put me in like a sanatorium, like for the mentally
It's
deficient.
so bad. It's so bad.
It's noticeable.
Yeah. My like word I swear like maybe Joe Biden just had like 4 sets of COVID. I'm not really sure. Because I feel like sometimes I go to say something and all the words get scrambled and then you try to save it and
Yeah.
it's like, wow, I'm gonna walk away, come back and start over. I can't
I,
even save
I have
this.
days where I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a searching for words day. I know it. And it will be. It is.
It's strange.
Stinks.
Thanks, China.
And I don't think any amount of mushroom coffee is going to build this back. We're not
Nope.
building back better.
Mushroom coffee. What are we talking about right now?
They're like
Have you seen?
Rise coffee or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Have you seen or Four Sigmatic where they'll put like they'll powder like chaga mushrooms or lion's mane, but then they'll also put like instant coffee in there, like some of the worst instant coffee you've ever had, and be like, "Oh,
Mm.
drink this. It'll be good for you." I'm like, "It has to be good for me because it tastes terrible.
No, I'm good
It
on that.
tastes like drinking mushrooms with instant coffee."
I'll drink myself some Diet Coke. That's good for my brain.
DC will definitely put your brain back together.
Maddie seems unconvinced.
No, I'm thinking not.
Frankly, I'm surprised that neither of you are drinking a DC right now
I
on camera.
just did. I just
I do
finished
Oh, you
it.
not.
did.
I do not drink Diet Coke.
I do. I
I
drink
drink
too
regular.
much
It
Diet
tastes
Coke.
like aspartame.
Yeah, I hate the
Yeah. Oh, I
taste.
It tastes
love
like brain
aspartame.
tumors.
If
I
I could
drink
choose
regular Coke
one
like I'm a
food,
man.
I would just aspartame be the one.
Well, that just
Just
shows you that it's affecting your brain because you called it a food.
they're
Just
going to give you a
extra.
lobotomy someday, and the hole that they make in your brain, they're just going to fill that with aspartame.
Yes, please.
My husband, I was like, I don't really have the like the knowledge on this, but my husband was like, why did they give lobotomies? I was like, I'm pretty sure it had to do with like insanity. Like they were
Mhm.
thinking if they took part of your brain out, you'd be less crazy.
Oh man,
I'm not really sure.
have you seen the tools and the demonstration of like how it happens?
Oof, no.
It is gruesome without being bloody. It's so crazy. Like they put an ice pick up your nose, whack it with a hammer, and it was supposed to fix you. I can't even imagine.
Golly.
I'm good on that.
Yeah, no
Yeah, I
thanks.
passed.
I'll drink my DCs.
So it's like be quiet or you get the ice pick up the nose. I think I choose being quiet.
Yeah. But, like just the prevalence of like insane asylums during that era, which I mean, we wouldn't have Dracula if we didn't
That's
have insane
true.
asylums.
Worth it.
Right.
But
Isn't that better than just putting your crazy wife up in the attic and pretending she doesn't exist?
that
Uh,
And then go date a
must have
teen
been
from
like
the
a
neighborhood
real
or whatever?
problem for Victorian England.
It was real.
Like everybody had like a real legit like crazy.
Crazy wife, crazy aunt, crazy someone or
well,
other.
in Rochester's mind, seemed like he might have had a little bit of thought that there was racial issues involved too, which
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
not sure about that one,
They didn't put
buddy.
that in the movie.
Yeah. He blamed it on her being, I guess, I don't know. She's from Jamaica, so
Yeah.
She needed a little oxtail that would have fixed everything.
oh
Did you
man,
did you fin
I'm
so
in.
did you finish
So
that?
good.
Did you finish it here?
I finished it. I really like it. I like
Gothic is
Lee
so good.
stupidly thinks about that hideous strength. I did think it started off slow, and part of it is just I'm not really interested in hearing or reading 3 chapters of like child abuse. Like
Yeah.
that's just not as fun to me. I don't enjoy that. I know some people do, and I know it is
Hot
important for the
takes over
setting,
here.
but it's just not fun. Uh,
Yeah.
but afterwards, I started to get into it, and then once we find out about his wife, things change. and
Yeah.
it got
Spoiler alert.
yeah, well, it's been out for like
Was that the Times
it's been
version
out
of
for a
like
while.
An M Night Shyamalan twist?
Yeah, it was for me. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
Man,
was
that's
so
what.
I was reading on the treadmill. So that's one of the things I do is I'm at
They
the
live in
gym
a nature preserve?
and I have an e-reader. It's
It's not a
I forget what
Kindle.
the brand is. It's not a Kindle, it's some other brand. But I was reading it and that happened and I was just like I can't. And so I stopped the treadmill. I went and I just sat down for like 10 minutes. And I was just like what just happened? That was insane. I had no idea.
Somebody at the gym thought you hurt yourself or something.
Yeah, I, I kind of
Gosh, the
did.
the scene like where she comes in the room, like when Jane Eyre is in the room and she like comes in and like attacks her.
Oh
Oof,
yeah,
it creeped me out. I was like, "Ugh."
and like stomps out the bridal veil or something. I forget what it
Yeah.
is, but
And like the weird screaming, even there early in the book when she gets locked in the room, um, as a kid, and she like
yeah,
faints because she thinks there's a ghost. Like that's all
yeah.
Did
gothic
you get
stuff.
Dracula Recollections?
Oh yeah. I apparently love the gothic novel.
You know what book it is basically the same as though? Jane Eyre and Rebecca are basically the same.
Mm,
Yeah.
There are a lot of similarities,
yeah.
but
The plot
betwixt the two.
twist on Rebecca was like, oh dang. I did not see that coming.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't.
Old
Neither of
Daphne
them did
had
me.
she had to have been inspired by it, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
Had to have been.
certainly gothic in its story. But you don't have the
but
crazy lady locked up. You have,
her
well,
locked up in hell.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, actually, she is locked up. Her body is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Also, that, but again, it's been 100 years, so
Yeah. You can't spoil something that old. It's been
um,
pickled.
yeah. So
That's on my list to read too. I have it on ebook
do it.
and I need to read
It's
it.
good. I read it and then like immediately after I watched the what's the guy?
Hitchcock.
Thanks. Yes, thank you.
The
Alfred.
what? Oh,
Alfred
right.
Alfred
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock
Oh, that was a great movie.
movie. It didn't, it wasn't 100% the same obviously, but it was still
It's
cool to
pretty
kind of
close.
watch. Yeah, it was cool to watch it from that
And then
perspective.
apparently Netflix destroyed it with their
Well,
new
I didn't
adaptation.
even I guess I heard about the book because of the Netflix series, but I didn't even watch it. I have
I
strong
struggle with
distrust of Netflix.
watching movies after reading the book. Like
Yeah.
I'll read a book and I keep thinking like, oh, I really want to watch this as a movie, and then I finish the book and I'm like, I have no interest in watching this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to see the movie before I read the book in order to have any chance of liking the movie.
Yeah, my childhood trauma was reading Misty of Shinko Teague and then watching the movie afterwards and having it be nothing like I thought it would be. Like ruined.
The first feeling of betrayal you ever felt.
Yes. Yeah. So then I like was like, if I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna watch the movie first
Yeah. Yep.
because I don't want to
Yep.
have it get
That's the
messed up. Which
rule.
some would think that would kind of spoil the plot line, but I don't know.
Yeah, so that brings me to what's probably my final thought, but I don't care about being spoiled ever about anything. Like if somebody tells me the plot twist of a book, I like appreciate the twist even more because if I know it's coming, I'm able to like see the build up to it that much better on the first read.
Yeah.
I love being spoiled. Now I know
One,
other people don't love it, so I try not to spoil things for people, but like I will gladly accept your spoils of things as a reader and a viewer.
it depends on the type of book or movie for me.
Yeah.
Like if it's just like for fun, I don't like if I'm going to read a detective novel, I don't want it.
Mm,
uh, I kind of like the figuring it out.
hmm
But on something like I don't think I would have hated Jane Eyre if I had known
hmm
what happens. I think it would have been just as good. I probably would have stayed on the treadmill.
You'd have finished your workout.
Yeah,
Maybe it would have been better for you to have been spoiled.
maybe so.
Yeah, I would say if it's some sort of like crazy plot twist, I don't want that spoiled. But if it's like, I kind of do like to know if someone's gonna die ahead of time. That always helps because then I can get
Mm.
less committed to their character early on.
You're ready to give up on them earlier.
Yeah, I don't like it when in shows or books or it kill off the best characters too soon. It makes me upset.
Mm.
So, because I form like attachments.
Yeah. Or
But
like the writers that like slavishly obey the kill your darlings writing advice
yeah,
and
I'm
like
not a
the
fan.
like main character or like secondary main character like dies halfway through the book or whatever
Yeah.
just because we like them.
Yeah. But I will say like I when I was younger, if I wasn't sure how a book was gonna go, I would just like read the last couple pages and then be like, okay, I'll keep reading.
Oh man,
If I was about to give up on a book, I'm like, I'm just gonna see. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just keep, or nah,
that
I don't
is
want to read this.
evil.
But that was just me being lazy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that is just plain evil.
It's not like I was reading a whole lot of things that were probably very good books as a kid. Um,
And like
but I
kids'
mean, I
chapter
did,
books or something.
yeah, and I didn't, I read Narnia a bunch, and I never had to do that with Narnia. But most of the books I read, and Jane Eyre in high school, I've said this before, I'm pretty sure, like, I just spark noted that, and it was horrible, and I hated it. I
Spark
couldn't
notes will
understand.
make you hate reading.
Yeah, I was because you just get like the straight plot facts and character and I'm like this is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
They
I
I
can
tell
love
you
see
what the theme of
hating.
it is, and it's like not the theme at all.
yeah.
They do that all the time. I can
Well, I
see
thought
hating Jane Eyre though as a kid, as a high schooler though. It's not.
yeah,
It's not a good one for high schoolers.
that's something I struggle with like having high schoolers now, especially boys who don't like reading very much. They do like audiobook story. They like stories. They like
Yeah.
that, but they don't have a lot of patience to just sit down and read a book. Um, And that is the difficulty is that like there's this desire that I have to like I want them to read all these great things and have this like exposure that I didn't have when I was in high school and yada yada yada.
hmm
And it's like, but I do think that we throw a lot of these classics on youth that can't appreciate it yet because they don't have the understanding
hmm
required to do so,
Yep.
especially when you're so far removed from the time that it was written.
Yep.
Like I'm having Isaac read um Animal Farm soon because it goes kind of
Oh,
with the history.
all
But I'm
right.
like, I was gonna have him do the Hillsdale course on communism and socialism first. It's like I want you to do this course. It's like 5 classes. Do it first, and then because when I read it, I knew it had to do with communism. I knew it had to do like as an allegory for Russia, but like I didn't. It just over my head. Like I understood the story, but I didn't understand like the significance exactly of
Yeah.
the story. Because it's just like, okay, a bunch of animals like take over and the pigs are smart and take
And
advantage of
mean.
everybody else and cool. Done. Check. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like, and now I guess reading, like, I remember early in the Jane Eyre, like, I thought one of my favorite things she does is with I don't know if he's a headmaster or whatever he is of the school, the guy, like, superintendent or whatever his role is. Um, and how like they run this tight ship, how you have to be super modest and you can't have, like, they criticize her friend for her hair and all this kind of stuff, and then his daughters come in and they're like, decked out, wearing all this, like the very opposite of what they're saying the girls can't do, and then his daughters and wife come in and they're all worldly,
Dude it up.
but it's okay. I thought that was very clever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, folks, any particular final thoughts that you want to leave on the interwebs before we button this up?
Button it up, man.
Well, I think that we should have a moment of silence for Zach, who is not with us.
He's not
Not
dead.
because he's
Uh,
dead, but
our
because he is
grandpa
not.
died.
He's, I want it to be like, how they have those, like, he's no longer with us,
In
kind of things.
memoriam.
Like, it makes it, yeah. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're dead. And they're like, no, no, no.
he's
We miss
he's just
him.
busy.
He'll be
He's
back
just
next
busy.
time, but
Reading
yeah.
his science fiction RPGs or whatever that was.
Yeah, the choose your own adventure novels.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are fun. I'm glad he enjoys
which I've
that.
never read.
No, I only just learned really what the genre is. I know he's explained it to me at least 3 times, but I learned it
Yeah,
through a
it's
YouTube
cool.
video because that's how I learn
Yeah.
now because I'm a slave to my times.
There's some really good YouTube stuff out there, like I was telling y'all earlier. I mean, it comes with benefits. There's just a lot of cons. There's a lot of
Yeah.
junk on YouTube, but there's also a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah. You definitely have to wade through a lot of really dumb material, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's some real gems. Um, in fact, some of the stuff, the advertisement stuff that we were talking about earlier does remind me of a Jared Henderson video that I saw earlier this week. It was really good. I like his channel a lot. Um, he used to work in tech, but he was a philosophy major and is just like a good thinker and really good at like saying what he's thinking and being able to live in the YouTube world without feeling like a YouTuber, with the scare quotes. And he was talking about how like, advertisements used to be the price you'd pay to access something for free, and now like you still get ads on stuff that you paid for. Now you have to pay
Yeah.
more to not get the ads that you shouldn't have had to watch in the first place. And about how like the cycle of tech companies and the way that they devolve into death. Um, it's like a death spiral that you can watch the 3 main phases of. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
like
good
the
15 minutes.
TikTokers that make like millions of dollars, not because they're providing any sort of service to anyone, but because they get ad money.
Yeah. And they
Feels
can
like
they
a
can
fake economy.
Yeah. And then they trick you into selling your attention to them uh on that infinite scroll, and they make money on you not being a person,
Yeah.
essentially.
Which I have, like, I'm curious about the reason why, but just as a side note, what is with influencers trying to sell you stuff and they go, why do they do that?
Oh,
What's with the tapping?
it's the ASMR. That's what it is. It's supposed to
That's
be
why
like,
they tap?
yeah, it's supposed to be like comforting, soothing gesture. The sound of it and the motion of of the fingers slowly on the flat surface, you know, and to do it slowly and
It's
yeah.
kind of nauseating. I get I like whenever they like hold something up and they go and they
Uh-huh.
keep talking about it, I'm like, what is that? Like,
Yeah,
stop doing that. It's driving me
it's what it
crazy.
is. Or they'll whisper their way through it too for that
Wow.
purpose. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
Ugh, I have no patience. I will say I love being a millennial. I know a lot of people complain about it, but I'm so glad that I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, millennials are just the new
peak.
boomers waiting to happen. I can see
Whoa,
it.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We're going to be down the exact same road.
Not me.
Okay.
No,
Forging a
like
new path.
we lived in the absolute best time to be a child for probably as long as I mean that is one perk of
Yep.
being at
The
this
exact
age.
best
But
time to be
like
a kid and the worst time to be an adult. That's what we
yeah,
got.
but we're still alive. I mean,
We're still alive.
that's a plus.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have to all
I'm
go off
not
and die in
current
a war.
Yeah, I didn't die in
It's
a
true.
war. I'm not starving to death. I'm not getting fed mercury by a doctor who's trying to save my life.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't get bled to death or leached to death
There are no
um
lobotomies.
for having the flu. Yeah, no lobotomies.
Yeah,
But
but
we
we
did
get to
get
see the fall of America in slow motion.
we get to get skinny on Ozempic.
Man.
Yeah, we gotta watch the fall of Western. We gotta watch Europe. Ah, yeah, I'm gonna get on a
We get to
watch Europe
make
just
and
roll over on
listen
its
to
back
podcasts
to
about
Islam.
anything and nothing all at once. What
It's
other generation
wonderful.
has that? Us, baby.
Gen Z.
Yeah. They're just younger about it.
They're just, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're just younger about it.
Although long form, I mean, this is too long for Gen Z, probably. They need like 15 minutes.
15 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no,
need,
that's
it's a 2 minute TikTok video gets like raged. Ah, it's too long. Cut it down. I miss Vine though.
yeah. We were
Six
the
It was
second
like
OGs.
6.
6 second looping videos. There was some of the most creative photo and video editing on there that I've ever seen. Works
I
of
will say,
art.
like, one thing I do love about Instagram and all that, the reels and stuff, other than just feeling like you're not alone in the world with your humor, but also that people can, like, anyone can be creative and put it
Yeah,
out there. Sometimes it's stupid and dumb, but
yeah,
it's not just like only people in Hollywood or who have, you know, figured out how to make it
yeah,
big. Like, it can just
yeah.
be anyone.
I mean, some of those people make it to Hollywood based on those videos,
Yeah.
which is insane. And if it's not good, it might just fall off and nobody will remember it.
Yep.
Unless
It
it's
doesn't always
really
happen that way.
bad.
Yeah, they'll remember it because it's really bad.
Yeah. If it's really bad, they'll remember it and think it's still funny for being bad. So you might actually get the same benefit for making something really bad.
Speaking of boomers, the amount of people who like watch AI videos and like think
They
it's
think they're
real.
real.
I mean, it's getting harder to distinguish, but it's still usually pretty obvious. Drives me insane. But anyways,
Yes. Yes. I've gotten a lot of those things shared with me and have to be like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know that that's an AI generated video, right? Oh.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
like even like travel destinations where you have like an infinity whirlpool,
Yeah.
like waterfall somewhere in the mountains, and like
Ooh.
And then it
No.
says like Memphis, Tennessee. It's like, all right, bro. That's not
Definitely not
Memphis.
real.
I love those.
It's right next there to the Pyramid Bass Pro.
Yeah.
They found a
Yeah,
purple cardinal in in Biloxi. What? I
yeah,
don't
they're
think
like,
so.
it's so beautiful. Or the dog, like I see a lot of the ones because I like have dogs, I guess, but like puppies are like clearly not any breed in existence. It has like leopard spots. People are like, oh man, that's a
I
beautiful
want
dog. I
one.
where I can get one. Yeah, I'm like, in your
Internet.
imagination because it's not real.
The pit of hell where that video was processed.
Exactly. Thank you, demons.
Although I do like it when the demons take a scene from a movie and turn it into babies doing the scene. That's some pretty good demon art.
We all didn't like, or at least Zach didn't like the Princess Bride one, though.
Oh, I thought that was great. I liked it.
Inconceivable.
Although it is kind of weird to think of a baby drinking like poison and then falling off and
He,
dying, but
he did it willingly, though.
he did. That's true. He fell for the classic blunders.
There has to be some suspension of, reality when you're watching a baby video version of a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like maybe, I don't know, nitpicking how real this could be.
uh a baby version of the diner table conversation from Heat.
Oh man.
That'd be a good
I don't
one.
even know that.
All right, folks, it's been real. Let's do this again soon.
Let's do it. Welcome to
And
2025 and 2024. I'm not sure if we did one in 2024.
I can't remember if we did. I think we
I
did,
think
but
one
it was maybe one. So we did
Okay.
our annual
towards the
episode.
beginning. Yeah.
Well, welcome to 2025. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next year. May
It's an
Monway
annual
keep you.
event. What can we say?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I think actually the last one was it was like a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day show, right? I think it was the ending of the reading challenge or something that we did.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to go back and look when I post this.
Yeah, we were full of hope and good intentions.
That reading challenge was fun too.
Well, we'll see y'all 2026.
Have a good rest of the year. May Monway
Yeah,
keep
I
you in the
think I
one
read
and
like
peace out.